Tired Hobby Tech Guy. Today we're talking about the Artecho acrylic paint 8-inch round paint rack. And I was just putting down coconut coffee, which came out fantastic. Man, dark roast, Robusta, Arabica, Robusta bean in there, and then a little bit of vanilla syrup, and of course whole white milk, and then 4 spoonfuls of coconut milk. And this is rocking. I mean, that is just. Can you smell that? Oh, it is incredible. So anyway, what we're going to end up doing, I don't want to put this down. It's so good, and I don't want to knock it over. Yeah, so anyway, what we ended up doing is we're talking about doing this Artecho paints, and these paints, this is the 12-pack of metallic paints, but I have the other paints, a 24 paint set, and let me go get that. And this is a big box of paints. This is the 24 paint set. So we got 24 paints in this one here, and it's acrylic paints, basic colors. We've got a wide range of paints. We got different colors, like 3 or 4 different types of greens and some browns and yellows and stuff like that. So we got a real good range. I am a little disappointed because they did have a 36 box, and I ordered the 24 without knowing they had a 36. And so, but then I got the 12 metallic paints along with that, so I guess that makes up for it. I don't know, it seems like it should. But I needed a paint rack, and so with that, this is kind of an oddly shaped little, package that we have here. It is 2 fluid ounces or 60 milliliters, and with that, we've got like a cap on the end. It's just kind of this weird shape. So the existing paint racks that I have done on my page didn't fit the bill. I couldn't scale it up so that it would end up fitting, because the other paint racks that I made, and you can check those out on my Acrylic Cloud site, and we'll actually take a look at that. Didn't come out to the size that I needed for these paints. So I had to come up with something new and different. And yeah, so we're gonna take a look at that. And with that, take the time to like and subscribe to the video, the channel, all of that stuff. I would really appreciate that, and that would be good. So let's take a look, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here on how we made this and what we ended up seeing. If we can get this all set up right, excuse the mess. But basically, this is what we ended up with. I started out with a 10-inch Lazy Susan and tried to do something like this, and there's like 14 paints per layer. That worked out okay, but the problem is that that's a lot of paint, and I wanted something a little bit smaller. So what I ended up doing is making this right here. It's an 8-inch version, and we can get 10 paints per layer. And so I've got kind of a mock-up there of what you can see is kind of reminiscent or an estimation of the paints that will go into those receptacles. So what I ended up doing is that, and then I also made this here, which is going to be the centerpiece. And so basically what I ended up doing is taking one of these and exporting it. And then I took this piece here and exported it, and we sent it to RK2 Plus. And we'll take a look at that. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just bring that baby up here. We'll see if we can make this a little bit smaller, so that way y'all can see it. Can I bring it down? Yeah, I can. So we try to get most of, I wonder how much I can shrink that. I think that's good enough. So anyway, here is the model. And what we ended up doing, as you can see, that turns out pretty nice. And there's the cylinder in the background. And when we did a preview for this, this is printed out at a 0.2 layer height. using Creality HQ Precision Hyper PLA 0.4 millimeter nozzle. And we've got 2 wall loops. Pretty much everything is stock except for the sparse infill is 5. Infill is gyroid, and I've been kind of bouncing between gyroid and adaptive cubic. But pretty much everything else is the same except for when we get to seams, that is set to random. So I think I've already missed that. No supports, so that's kind of good. And prime tower, we don't need that. We don't need a brim or a skirt or anything like that. And yeah, the seam position, what I ended up doing is setting that to random. So when we take a look at this, that's what all those little white dots are the seams. Otherwise, they come all in a line that looks kind of funky. So what we're looking at now with that is we came up with 6 hours and 35 minutes. It's 205.86 grams. It's $4.12 for what is printed here. And we just finished that up. So yeah, there it is. We finished it, and we're going to take a look at that and see if the cylinder actually fits in there, because it is a proof of concept. And yeah, so that's what we're going to end up doing. So we're going to take you along with that. And again, it's for these Artecho paints. Now, we have 2 versions of this. Now, I didn't realize this until after I made this and finished printing this up, but there is this version that we have here, and then there's this version. So it looks like they're pretty close. So hopefully this will fit and this will fit as well. And so it'll save the problem of having to make, let's just keep our fingers crossed is basically what it comes down to. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to throw this stuff over onto the table. Let me get a swig of this stuff because this is so good. Coconut coffee, awesome. So we'll put this on the table over here, and then we'll end up doing is we'll take you out of the studio. Ooh. And then we'll go over here and we'll take a look at our printer. And there's our 3D printer. And for those of you, this is the Creality K2 Plus, which has been a great machine. And you have asked before, why do I set this forward? And there's a good reason for that. It ends up have access to the buffer assembly, all of the things that are here, and I've got a massive tubes. This just works because I have access to that little piece right there. So in case something gets stuck, I have easier access to this. I can still load up the CFS. Of course, now I'm using the side spool holder this is Polymaker matte white PLA, and yeah, it's working great. So let's see what we got. So there it is, 5 hours and 45 minutes. I know there a little bit of a discrepancy, but about halfway through, I ended up bumping up the speed to 125%. And there we go. Look at that. And we can see that came out pretty good. It's only got 2 walls, and it's light, and it's got a little bit of flex, but for proof of concept, I didn't want to go too crazy on this. And for this, there it is. And the reason I stuck with the 8-inch is because that's kind of big. See what I mean by the seams on there? How those seams lined up on some of them. It's just kind of an odd thing. So I did the random seams. We'll do that next on the next one, and if this works. So that turned out well. There is the